Okay, people. So the 67th London Film Festival has finished, but I had to recap it with my boy, the film philosopher, Daniel Glenn-Barbour. Yo, what up, my man? How you doing?
Yeah, on, Kev, you all right? Yeah,
I'm
man,
good, man.
active.
I am good. You know what I mean? I thought I'd take you away from, you know what I mean, educating the masses to spit some realness on all these films that we've got around to watching, man. Because I thought this was an interesting year for the London Film Festival. I thought the divide between indie and blockbuster was a lot smaller than it has been in previous years.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. A lot of the movies that seem like blockbusters, not to say they were done on like a cheaper budget or anything like that, but you know, they did have that indie feel. They are tapping into emotion a lot more. Making you just feel more. I'm not saying that you're watching Avengers, you don't cry when the Hulk gets beat up or something. You know what I mean? But this one, like, yeah, definitely touched the heartstrings. I can't lie. Yeah.
So, what was the film which you started on with this?
I started on Saltburn.
Okay, yeah. I did Saltburn.
Yeah, I started on Saltburn. I'm gonna go every time you ask a question, I'm gonna give you an answer. I ain't just gonna float. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get invited to all the BFI screenings.
Nice, nice. Nah, man. So I was looking at everything, and so I did 25 films and 8 shorts this year, which
Okay.
is, I think it's around about what I think I normally I probably would have done more because I didn't do any evening films because of budget. But yeah, normally I do the press films in the morning and then I'll do a lot of films in the evening as well. But
How many
you know,
times have you attended?
boy, I think I started covering the festival in 2017.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
I
missed
believe
last.
it was my first one.
Huh?
It was my first one.
Scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how did you find it?
Well, do you know what? Well, I think this sounds really bad. So when I was at uni in 2017, I think my uni paid for seats for us to see Moonlight. I
Right.
believe so because we went to the BFI and we watched Moonlight, and all the actors were at the front
Mm,
introducing the film. So yeah, I do think I've been there before, but I didn't. I don't think I don't know. When you're just floating through life, you don't really realize where you are and
mm,
what the importance of what you're doing is. So I didn't realize I was at the BFI or cared like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I'm gonna make some films. All right, I've never known these actors. I didn't know who Barry Jenkins was. I didn't know none of that. I didn't know that Moonlight was gonna be a film that influenced my career. Like,
mm.
I didn't know that at the time. But yeah, this year was my first getting the passes, getting the tickets, no understanding what this can do for my life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because I know you did a lot of the talks and the industry sessions. So
yeah.
how was that? Because for a director, a writer, producer, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of in the thick of it. So how did you find all of those, extras that they throw on, and did you find it being useful for your career and your out?
Well, did I find it useful my career and my outlook? So I'll say I'll go on my outlook first. Um, I respect their honesty. It's a bit of a double-edged sword because with honesty comes reality,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
And everyone can be as optimistic as they want, but not everybody that put their hand up, maybe 60% of everyone that was in there saying they're a writer director will make it to Hollywood.
No,
You know what I'm
no,
saying? Some of that is quitting. Some of that is environment. Some of that is who your parents might be. Who knows? But I am appreciative of the honesty. Um, do I think independent filmmakers have a chance? I don't really think so. As a whole, you have to be on a higher frequency
Mm.
of just enjoying what you do. Not needing that Oscar, not needing that fame and fortune. One thing that I came to grips with was making 100K a year and making films internationally is kind of enough for me. I don't need a multi-million pound house, but I would like a house. I would like to feel financially free. I feel
Yeah.
like 100K can do that for me. You know what I mean? I'm not crazy when it comes to cars and shopping and stuff like that, right? And it don't matter how much I earn. Money management is the most important thing, right? And then with all of that, making sure I can be financially free. I can make the films I want. You
Mm.
know,
Mm.
100K might be working for a company, but really, I suppose I'm working to a point where my name can be known and I can work at a rate where I am making that much money a year. That is the aim. I feel like when you aim for the stars, you may hit the moon. You know what I mean? So just because I'm aiming there doesn't mean the Oscars isn't something I really want. I had one of
Yeah.
my mentors say to me, they were talking about what is the director's name? And he did not the one who did Napoleon. He did Gladiator.
Oh, Ridley Scott. No,
Ridley
Tony.
Scott.
Yeah, Ridley.
There's
Yeah.
a new movie he's doing. There's a new movie he's doing, and I think he's doing it at the Vatican, something like that. There's a scene or something he done, or maybe it was 007. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, apparently one of my mentors said to me that on the call sheet there was like 200 extras or something, or like 500 extras or something like that, right?
Mm.
And he was like, "Oh, you would never want to do that." And I'm like, "Who said I would never want to do that?" He's like, "Yeah, but Daniel, the stress, the level of stress, the different departments, the different this, it's like." Bro, like if you can watch these man do it, these man are all in their 60s and 70s do it. Listen, I'm 35, yeah, and there's a bunch of man hungry from where I'm from that want to make something of themselves. You understand? Want to express their emotion and do their thing. You know what I'm saying? And they're not getting the opportunity to do it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people do great things, but that doesn't mean other people can't do great things in that person's place if they have the opportunity.
Yeah.
So that's the importance of independent filmmakers. Do you know what I mean? Because while everyone's doing blockbuster stuff trying to make money, independent filmmakers, and I'm not saying it's either or, you understand what I mean, but what it represents to some extent, you know what I mean? Independent filmmakers trying to bring culture, you know what I'm saying? Trying to bring like life lessons, do you know what I'm saying? Trying to bring, we're acting like film and media wasn't used to like change the minds of the masses, do you know what I'm saying? Like what we're talking about here, and when you're doing blockbuster stuff, they simplify it, but that's where the money is. I was gonna put my hand up and say, um, if only independent filmmakers were at the Oscars, would it make any money? It probably wouldn't. You know
No.
what I'm saying? It probably wouldn't, but a lot more people would be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe the world would be a better place. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Maybe there would be strikes. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, no, I think that, but I think the problem is, right, is we're all human, right? And so that's why communism never works, right? Because someone always wants more. Someone always wants more without putting as much effort in.
but does that mean capitalism works though?
I mean, nothing works perfectly. You know what I
Yeah, but
mean?
people are killing people over that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, so
yeah,
what does work? People are trying to trust. Trying to stamp people out just to let their ideology thrive,
mm,
nationally. Do you know what I'm saying? Like worldwide.
yeah. Because that's the thing. Because everyone wants to. Someone always wants to rule the roost. Someone always wants my idea over your idea, like to stifle you. You're like, wait, you're stepping out of your zone, son. Nah, I'm gonna put you out. You know what I mean? That's the thing. So, even independent films, right? There's always going to be that person that's like, nah, I want more funding. I want more of this. It's just the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I
but
do
who's getting
think
that new chance though? Who's really, you know, if Daniel Kaluuya just done The Kitchen and that's his first, do you know how long he's been an influence in my life? I heard he was writing on Skins. That came out like 10 years ago. Do you mean you're only doing your first feature now? Who's not giving you the money when you asked for it? Do you know what I mean? How dare they? You know what I mean?
But did he what? But the one thing I wonder, like, did he want to make a feature before now, or was just now the right time to make it?
I feel like he would say that because he's a very deep guy. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm sure. Do you know what it's like? Yeah, it's like I've had a lot of great opportunities in my life, right? And I put myself in positions to do it. But there's people around me that need an extra push. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? And I know in this world, like, yeah, you gotta like do it yourself. Like we know the reality is you have to do it yourself, but we understand and what I was saying earlier about community and actually knowing that we serve this earth, this planet as a metaphor, that means we serve each other as well. Do you know what I'm saying? We gotta help each other, we gotta collaborate with each other. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, there's a truth, right? There's a truth in this world, you know, a real truth, not our own perceptions of truth. There's a real truth in this world, right? And people want to tell their own narrative. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's a collective of people that want to tell their own narrative. You know, that's why, you know, there's certain movies, I'm no disrespect to Hollywood, you know what I'm saying, in all these places, but a lot of the stuff is repeated. You know what I'm saying? How many remakes you gonna do? Like, how many remakes are you really going to do? Do you know how much like culture there is in this world that you have not tapped into for new material? But you would have to give power to another nation or another culture because it only serves best if they control the culture that they practice every day. But you want to tell someone else's. I was at a dinner yesterday and I was talking to some actors, right? And he's a East Asian guy, and he more or less was saying that there is a narrative for his nationality. When he goes to audition and all of these different roles, they're asking him stuff like, "Oh, you know, as an East Asian, you know, you kind of need to have a six pack." Like that's what they need to see. Or you're gonna be the nerd, or you're gonna be the. It's like, bro, that's not even my culture where I'm from. Like, why are you making me? Like, you should really listen to me, right? If you're gonna show my face in your movie, you should listen to what my experience is of what I look like. Shouldn't you? Isn't that like sense? But it don't serve the people with money to do that. Because with your power, when you have power, you control the narrative.
For real. Like I went to a talk the year before John Singleton died, right? He did a talk at the BFI
Oh,
for Boys in the Hood.
oh wow.
And oh man, it was so great. And he was talking and saying, like, there was a point where you couldn't get certain films made. You know, you'd go to the studio with an idea for a film and they'd be like, can't you give us something else like Boys? Right? Can't we have something like New Jack City? Can't we have something like... So you couldn't come with a rom-com. You couldn't come with a heist film. You couldn't come... There was a certain film, an archetype they wanted.
Depending on who they're looking at.
Yes. Well, for a black creator, you know what I mean? There was a certain film they wanted. And so you couldn't... You know what I mean? There was this period where there was no other films that you could make.
But can I just interject? Do you mind if I interject and just say the guy that I met yesterday, he opened my eyes because I didn't realize that's not that I don't realize, but when we're focused on our own culture and our own race, let's call it, right? Don't realize other people are going through their own struggles. So I took a minute to be with this guy and I realized that a black guy is probably gonna get casted before him. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we can have a conversation about like who's been in America longest. Do you know what I mean? To deserve certain positions and all of them things there. But at the same time, you know, they all paint us with the minority brush. Do you know what I'm saying? At the same time, and as I said, like you asked the question about the career, right, from the talks. I don't feel comfortable that I'm going to get funded telling stories based on my experience as a black heterosexual male growing up in East London. I don't think my experience of the last 35 years is of any interest to them. So I'm gonna have to. But one of the positives that I took from being there is that I don't have to limit my script ideas by the budget I think I'm not gonna get.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can write a script, a pitch pack is a pitch pack, do you know what I mean? And now go to production companies. Send it to, there's loads of production companies. Send that script to that production company. I wasn't even thinking like that before. It's like I wrote a script,
Right.
and then I was like, okay, I need to make money. I need to give me £2 million. But it's like, no, maybe I need to hand this script to this production company. And the negotiation is, I'm directing this. But if you want to produce it, you can.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not, and don't get me wrong, with the right story, they will be motivated to get the most money they've ever tried to get. No one's saying that they've already got 10 million in the bank. Do you know what I mean? Ready to just make whatever films. Some do, some don't. Do you know what I'm saying? But to your question earlier, for my career, I know what direction I'm moving in.
Right.
I understand it now. Sales agents, not just distributors, sales agents. Film festivals take you in more when you have a sales agent and distributor. I didn't even realize that. Like, sending it from my account in Film Freeway does not rustle any feathers. You know what I mean? Compared to if a sales agent or distributor officially was sending it. Do you know what I mean? That still adds money to the transfer cost. Like, bro, everything costs money in this industry, man. And it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the stuff that you don't get told right out the gate, right? And I think that's the advantage sometimes of going to these types of things, that you can find out that gray area, right? You can work out, what are the small steps that need to be made to achieve something.
Yeah. Well, it did inspire an idea I had. I got this idea. It's more about fatherhood. What film was I coming out of? I feel like I was coming out of. I went to the finance industry talk in Marble Arch, and basically, it was for Film London people. But some industry people could go if you RSVP'd in time.
Right.
And I think they paid about £500 or £400 months before that to be able to be in the financial market, to pitch their ideas to some investors. But we had to leave before we could do that because I didn't pay that. But we were there for the talks.
Yeah.
Some people that was there. And that was probably the best talk I saw. Yeah, that definitely put me on the right track. Speaking to people, talking about, send it to 100 festivals and 10 will grab you. You know what I mean? It's the Russian roulette. Just hope that those are the good 10, right? And the festival run is financially draining. I thank God I've made a lot of short films and a lot of features. Thank God I never put all of them in a festival. I always told myself subconsciously, there's going to be a time when I know this is the film that I'm going to push in a festival. I truly know this is the do you know what I mean? The best I can do, but I suppose I never knew what they wanted to see. It's important to see who are the winners from competitions over the years, right? It's important to see that. Who won the Oscars, for the last 10 years? Who won the BFI for the last 10 years? You should know that before you put your film in there. Do you know what I mean? Because you can get stuck thinking that your film's important because, I ain't going to call you a narcissist, but you'll think that our art is the most important thing in the world, right? But you got to look at where you're putting it.
Yeah.
And to your question before, again, at some point in the festival, it disheartened me. I thought there was no space. But then again, to see the Book of Clarence in the kitchen and knowing who's behind it and knowing what their accolades are to make it, it still makes me wonder whether I have a chance. But you never know, because someone like Michael Ward is in the Book of Clarence next to the Keith Stanfield. Anything can happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think there's definitely ways to get there, right? We don't have to all travel the same road.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it's about, I think sometimes it's about connecting with the right people, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
not everyone will actually support your vision, right? But if you hook up with the right people that are down to support each other and you know, in trying to help each other up that ladder, then you can achieve shit. You know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's understanding that sometimes you need that help, right? You can't do everything on your own, and you
Yeah.
find the right people, right? You might think, "Ah, these are my boys," right? But are they, right? Do
But
they
you know what?
really
Yeah,
want you to
I
succeed?
feel like if you can reach like the level of like, and I say monk, right, like level of control of your brain, right, but you can maneuver that within the film industry. I'm not saying you can do it on your own, yeah, but in theory, time gives you everything, right?
Mm,
You know, I'm, and no, I will give myself that respect. But even to even see what I just did there, this is what will slow you down. Why do I have to convince myself that I'm as good as I? Do you know what I mean? But this is one of the things. This is one of the elements people have that hold them back from that 2 million. Do you know what I mean? What I was gonna say is I went to that festival with 4 project ideas, all in a pitch pack, ready to give to financiers or whatever. But I realized the position we were in with those industry passes, you know, who's that person in the line that can green light a 20 million pound screening? Why would they want to be there? If they were there, it would be because of their own personal reason for wanting to be there. I don't think someone who can green light a 20 million pound needed to be there. I'm not gonna lie to you. So my reasoning for going there was to meet that person. And when I
mm,
went there and saw there was a bunch of people like me, it was like, oh, you lot are selling these. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, you look like, oh, it ain't as exclusive as I thought it was to have this pass, even though it was a great investment. Do you get
yeah,
what I'm saying? I definitely got my money's worth. I can't lie. You understand what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I can't deny it. I definitely got my money's worth. Um, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
yeah, right.
Kind of
It's like
the passion, bro. Like it's just,
it's all good, man.
it was a great festival.
Oh, your volume's gone. Your volume's gone.
Can you hear me now?
You're getting louder. All right, say something there. Do, do, do.
I can hear you louder now.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Boom, you're back.
I got
You're back.
back to it again.
Yeah, you went real quiet, but now you're
Oh,
back.
sorry. Where was I? Um, yeah, looking at the accolades that these guys have, like Daniel Kaluuya or James Samuel, he's Seal's brother. Do you know
Mm,
what I mean? Well, he's fantastic, but let's not act like he hasn't had a creative what's the word? What's the word? Like a neat like when someone's a symbol of creativity or someone's like someone's it's a very like Shakespeare word. Um ah
I don't know.
niece, someone's
Like a
forgot
muse, a
muse, someone's
beacon
muse.
of creativity.
Yeah, a muse. Like obviously it's his brother, but it's still you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like Kissed by a Rose. What?
yeah.
Val
Crazy.
Kilmer's Batman.
You know what I
What?
mean? There's so many. Seal's great, man. Seal's got tracks.
I
You
think he's
know,
got songs on the Book of Clarence. Or you think that was James Samuel? I thought it was Seal at one stage. Seal's voice.
I can't quite remember.
Because remember some of the bits where like he's walking through the town and stuff like that, and then the music comes up and there's someone singing, and it definitely sounded like Seal.
Yeah, there was I mean, the soundtrack was great. Like the way Samuels uses music in his films is
Yeah.
just oh man. I love it. I love the way
What was your favorite film in the festival?
boy. I mean, I saw some good films. There was definitely films where I'm just like, yo, that's a good film, man. But
Yeah.
I think I think The Book of Clarence is probably my favorite film.
Oh wow, over Kitchen though, because I ain't gonna lie to you, like I was torn whether Book of Clarence is better than Harder They Fall.
I think, see, the thing with, because they're so different, you know what I
Mm.
mean? I'm like looking at that. That was the thing I was trying to think, and I don't think it's any worse. I don't think I say it's better than Harder They Fall. It definitely isn't worse. I think they're kind of, you know what I mean, both up
Mm.
there.
I do think Harder They Fall because I was watching them back to back. So I watched Book of Clarence on the Wednesday, I think. Then I watched Harder They Fall that evening. Then I watched the Book of Clarence the next day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I sandwiched the Harder They Fall. Um, Harder They Fall is a fantastic
Oh my
movie, you know.
so good. So I have told so many people to watch that film, and every person comes back and is like, "Yo, that was so good. That was so
Yeah.
good."
But do you know what's scary? Why do people not know about it anyway? It came out ages ago. Why is no there's black people I speak to that haven't watched that movie. It's like they don't understand how important that movie is as a creative piece of art for our community.
Mm.
Like you're not gonna get movies like this
Yeah.
if you
Well,
rely on the industry. You're not getting it.
yeah. People don't always want to support. You know what I mean?
And that's that mentality I told you
Yeah.
about before we was understood that the earth is what we have to, do you know what I mean? And each other, community. That's
Mm.
why the kitchen was so important. You see, Kano had to go back.
Oh,
You see, Kane Robinson, he had to go back.
yeah.
So I'm not trying to do no spoilers on your thing.
Yeah.
But remember, he's looking at the
Yeah.
window, and it's just because we all want the shiny thing, innit? We all want to leave the hood or we want to leave the
Mm.
community because it's
Well,
poor.
yeah. Also, I think, right, because it was a difficult thing to get a spot, right? So he was then looking to put in the application for the 2, but then they remember he's like, "Oh, can I put in an application for the 2?" And they're like, "That means you'll lose this one."
Yeah.
And I think because it took so long to get the 1, it was just like, I might not get that next thing.
But the thing looked like a student yard anyway.
Oh yeah,
It
it
looked
wasn't
like
great. That's the thing. It wasn't like you know what I mean. You wait all that time for something lavish, but that's when you look at things and like you needed to get out of a certain situation, and the best you could do was this one thing. You're like, okay, at least I'm out of that situation, right?
yeah.
Then he realizes that can't do that, right? So he goes back, which was
Nah, it was when my man. It's when Unc fell on his sword. Not fell on his sword, but you know when they try to take him down and that. I think
yeah,
that was the reality check. My man, that fly the airwaves for everyone. You know what I'm saying? And live for the
million
community in
likes.
their job. You understand? I
Yeah.
swear to God, yeah. I ain't trying to. No, I am. Man, I'm a walking man's greatness, you know. Like when I was young, you know, I like turn my mum's front room into into a studio, not a film studio, it's a music studio. Literally, like, cause I was rapping and stuff, we couldn't afford studio.
Mm.
I tied a mop to a garden chair with shoelaces and then put the microphone through the top of the mop. You get
Right.
me? Cool Edit Pro 2.0, connected the mic to the thing, and literally, I used to delete everyone from the area because, to be fair, like the area I'm from, you know, we weren't as violent as the neighboring neighborhood, you
Yeah.
know. And I didn't even want to compete on that level. From 15, 16, my heart weren't that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But they were a terror. So I thought, you know what? Let's just do music. Do you know what I mean? Let's do music. You're safer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Indoors. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's together. And then we just made music upon music upon music upon music. And And then yeah, my uncle, he sold my computer, man. Like, you know,
Oh,
you know what drugs do.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
but thank God for the legacy of film. And my point is that whenever I've lived for, listen, I always felt like in my past, I was always blindly loyal, and very supportive, right?
yeah.
Um, because of whatever trauma, right? Um, Realizing that the world doesn't move like that, the world live for themselves, right? But I never wanted it to be like that, and I learned over time. Every time I did that, I always succeeded in some way. If you know, there are lessons in mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Many lessons in mistakes, and not everything that seems like a mistake is even a mistake. It's just lessons.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I might have lost a friend because it exposed who they were, but it
Mm.
also exposed who I am. Do you know what I mean? My name is clean in my good intentions for people, and I think we don't realize that. You know, a lot of us are depressed. A lot of us, you know, a lot of us, yeah, depressed, not just because of the cost of living crisis, because we don't realize our energy is not positive. We're all about ourselves, and we're not about the collaborative effort. We're not about
Mm.
helping each other. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, when we first linked up, you know, when you reviewed my film, right? When we did the follow-up interview, I could have potentially not even known you. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If we never spoke from that point, or me saying,
Yeah.
no, no, let's do that. Oh, let's do it. Do you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you 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 know how many, right? This is a crazy thing. Because you know, you talk to indie creatives, right? Whether it's filmmakers, musicians, poets, whatever it is. And a big thing they'll say is like, I can't get any publicity. People don't want to talk to me. They only want to talk to the major people.
Mm,
You understand the amount of indie people I hit up and be like, yo, I see you got a film come out, or I just watched your film. It was great. Would you like to have a conversation about it? And
mm,
get blanks. And I know they saw the message, and I get blank. Like I bumped into a guy at a screening, and he was talking about his film, going, "Oh yeah, no, like no one just wanted to cover our film." And I'm like, I watched that film. I watched it, and I emailed the director, the producer, and no one ever got back to. He's like, oh. I mean, send me an email, and we'll get something. I did, still heard nothing. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Some
People busy looking at views,
Yeah,
and when they're looking at views, they're thinking about themselves.
mm. Well, also, right? It's like you'll do something with someone, they won't push it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they won't push the conversation. You know what I mean? So it's just like, look, you recorded it, you gave someone the space to have a conversation and an honest conversation about what they do, you know? But they
Mm.
won't go, hey, just had this great conversation. You know, so it's this
Yeah.
weird situation you find yourself
Everyone's just about them. I'm telling you. I'm
in.
telling you, kid. They're all about. This is the society we live in. Capital. Everyone can talk about communism if you want. You understand? But by the theory of things, by the work pyramid, yeah, use few at the top, yeah, and more work at the bottom.
Mm.
The rewards go to the few. That in what world does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You understand? Like in what like everybody knows, listen, supreme mathematics, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, with that power and with that energy of being at the top, you have to serve your community. You don't serve yourself.
Mm.
You don't trick the masses and trick the people to work for you. Make them do work and they don't even realize by the time they're 60, they ain't getting their pension. And there was something in the contract that said, well, that's good business, right? Capitalism, right? What are we
Mm.
talking about here? You understand what I'm saying? And it's only that man can see that it's in all the industries. You know what I'm saying? It's in everything. I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
saying listen, I'm not saying that when one attempts to extort the societal, with communism, socialism, capitalism. Who knows who's done it the worst in history, right? I heard about some communist stuff. I heard about some other stuff, and it was pretty bad. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Some of the punishments are very bad. You understand? who knows if capitalism is quite balanced? But just because people can breathe fresh air, yeah, outside, that doesn't mean it don't hurt that you got to pay for water, gas. You got to pay for your car to be outside. I got to pay just to have a car. I got to pay for this insurance. And even though I'll never have an accident, and then you've got some loophole to why I can't get a claim, or you're sending me food that ain't healthy for me, or do you know what I mean? Like what? So, but because you give me this illusion that I can buy Jordans and I can buy all of these brands that are no good for me, that make me feel like I'm worth something, even though I'm not, and it's proven these things are depressive and stuff like that. You get me? And actually, expression, true expression, raw expression is like one of the best medicines for these things. But yet, in this society, I should be grateful because I want to jump off a bridge because no one will give me the fund.
Yeah,
this full sense of freedom that's not really there.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy thing, but I think like even though you come across these hurdles and situations, you just stay true to who you are. You know what I mean? You stay true to who you are, because you will come across like-minded cats. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know what I mean? Having conversations, you come across people like yourself, right?
Do you think that what you're saying is like that because it's the only hope?
I mean, it's. I think the way society is, right? Because now it's so dispersed, right? We've got so many people living in certain spaces. So trying to find those like-minded people like you, it's a harder thing because, there's so many people to kind of have to sieve through. But you just keep doing it. You keep doing your thing and you will find those people. You know what I mean? You will find people that are trying to achieve like you're trying to achieve.
You think
And
society is stronger though? Like, do you think what you're saying in theory is correct, but in reality, the things that society subconsciously force on the minds of us is way too strong for that theory to actually be a reality for many people?
yeah, I think I think there are so many distractions, right, that people can veer off the path, right? But you have to have that, fixed mindset. You have to be, so consumed in your belief that you stay the course and you keep
100%.
pushing and you stay true to you, right? Just because one person did you dirty, it still doesn't mean you don't try and help that next person, right? I think, and as you said, right, you learn from everything that's happened to you, right? So it's easier to see the people that aren't the hard workers, right? It's easier to see the shiesty people through past experiences. So you just keep doing you,
Yeah,
right?
but those people are very successful.
Oh,
Not on a frequency level, not on a like mind spiritual frequency level, but in this material world, they thriving.
oh
They're the
yeah,
billionaires of the world.
yeah. But they get found out. You know what I mean? A lot of not everyone, but a lot of
Yeah.
those people do get found out, right?
Has
Because
Hollywood been found out?
I mean,
Because I just came out of that. I just come out of that festival, right? And I tell you this for free, yeah. Like I didn't go in there and go, oh, it's not actually as bad as I thought it is, No, it's there's an agenda.
mm,
Like there's it felt like no, I'm lying. Because The Kitchen and Book of Clarence, I was gonna say was the film, and I didn't watch a whole bunch of films. So I'm not true to saying this. Had the most black cast, right? But I know there was other films, but the other films that I saw were so like the not depressive. It's just about constantly about pain and
mm,
just like
mm.
poverty, and like we're never seen in like no Brad Pitt, like, you know what I'm saying? Where's the the beautiful woman from Congo who just believes and is confident in herself, who isn't being abused by her husband. Like, that's not
Yeah,
our
yeah, yeah, yeah,
stories. Like, that's not all our stories.
yeah.
Like,
No, but I think those, like, Singleton was saying, sometimes they're the films that you can get funding for.
but I'm tired of making these movies, man.
Mm.
Look, like, okay, well, I was telling you I was going to make this film, right? I got this film about a guy who's basically a father who it's literally just um the average story of a guy who doesn't live with his baby mother. His baby mother has a boyfriend. He doesn't want to do all the things that he needs to do to make the amount of money that makes a baby mom that you're not with very happy, right? In support and finances. And he's just not a square guy, but he's a man who just has his own ambitions, and he has to jump over all of these hurdles to be in his daughter's life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? A black man trying to be in his daughter's life. You understand? And it's a bit like Imperial Dream with John Boyega. Have you seen that? It's on Netflix. Imperial Dreams.
I may have done.
John Boyega, he's American, and he like comes out of prison, and like it's funny. It's like he has to get like an ID to be able to apply for something, but he can't get the ID because he has to do something else that he can't do. Which like it's like they both cancel each other out, and he's like, well, how can I get this? You're telling me to get this, but I can't get this because I've done that, and they're like, yeah, but you still got to get this. Like, are you trying to send me in circles? Like, do you understand that the system is created for you not to succeed? That's why, what's it called? Theresa May could send people back to the Caribbean when they've been there for 40, 30 years.
Yeah.
When you invited them here in the first place. What loophole was that? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man, bruv. Bruv. Like, listen, I'm not pessimistic. I just highlight the real. I highlight the real so people can change. I feel like if people know what it is, they'll think differently about it. I only understood to make change once I understood the history or understood what's happening in the present. You understand what I'm saying? Going to that festival, I don't think that this diversity quota is really in full effect. I don't think so. I don't think it's changed from before.
I mean, the quota thing is, I find it crazy. I find the whole quota thing for funding kind of crazy. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it can put hurdles into storytelling. I think there's things you can do to increase, representation in front and behind the camera.
Yeah, but killing two birds with one stone, making minorities a part of the LGBT community in movies isn't diversity. That's not diversity.
No.
That's not giving us an opportunity. Because what happens when you're not a part of the LGBT community? What minority gets a voice? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, big up everybody that's getting an opportunity. Big up everyone who gets to express what they've been going through. No one's life is more harder than anybody else's, right? Everyone deals with things differently based on what their mental can handle. You understand what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people, a lot of young guys that are in a pandemic of knife crime and believing they're not worth anything. And, unless they're selling drugs, they can't get in those positions to make the type of money that makes a woman respect them, especially when the women in our community are thriving much more than the men. You understand what I'm saying? So men putting food on the table actually, we got to like do better than the females. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they can put food on their own table and they don't even think they need a man in the house, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So where's the space for a man like that in this world? You understand? Big up my man who's in Doctor Who. Big up all of these, man. The guy that was in Saltburn who's also in Formula One, and I see him in Sea with Jason Momoa. Big him up. Big up all these, man. You understand? But what going for the 20 man from my area who I don't know what community they're from, but I know they were poor, young, black. They told me they was heterosexual. I don't know. Like, where's their story being told? Do you know what I'm saying? They all think they want to be rappers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? They don't realize they can be composers. Imagine that. a music producer could compose a film.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Well, I mean, look, we've seen examples, right? Atticus Ross and oh my god.
Yeah, but these are examples, Kev. There's way too many creatives in the black community and in minority communities, right? That don't get opportunities. Do you know what
Oh,
I'm saying? Don't even think they can do certain things. I'm like the only guy in my circle of loads and loads of friends that do film.
mm.
I know about 15 rappers.
Yeah.
I know a lot of actors, but I don't know a lot of black producers. Not in
Mm.
my community. Not like they don't make films. What do they write scripts? No, I don't know anybody in my community that writes scripts. I'm not saying that black people. Obviously, I can meet a girl in South London, who writes scripts, or anyone, of course. But I'm saying none of my friends do. None of my friends do. And knowing the community we came from, we need to come together and do something. Like that's the only way out of this.
Yeah.
Together. You know what I'm saying? So
It's it's an interesting situation, and I think, well, that's why I like when I see you doing your videos, right, giving people tips on certain things. Be like, all right, tip today is, and I think that's great, right, because you're giving people that information which you don't always get in places, right? You can go to industry events and there's a Q&A and people are talking. But I think sometimes people gloss over a lot of the things you have to do to get somewhere, right? It's just like, oh, hey, just, you know what I mean? Just go to auditions and you'll finally get a thing. And it's just like, it's not as simple as that. There's other things you have to do, right? And it's just, so when someone is giving that minutiae, right, that detail on the steps you need to take and the things you need to consider, that's really important. And we just need more of that. I think when people see that, then they can realize, oh, I could do that. Maybe I
yeah.
should do that instead of, because I've got ideas I could write instead of trying to,
But
do a music thing.
But Kev, I'm telling you, like in the time I've been doing all of those daily doses and all of this, people don't like a lot of people. It's like a needle in a haystack. Some people listen, some people don't. Only once they hacked my Instagram account, I realized how many people were watching. Do you know what
Mm,
I'm saying? And how many people were like, raw, like, bro, Mondays ain't the same. Like, and it's far and few, but listening to it go so far. How many actors actually picked up a pen and started writing something?
mm.
I always say to them, what position do you want to be in? Do you want to be Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious? Do you want to be Jason Statham in whatever a Guy Ritchie movie? Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the love interest? Are you an Asian guy and you want to be a love interest for Jennifer Lawrence? You know what I'm saying? You might have to go to some Taylor Swift concerts. You know what I'm saying? You might have to adapt in some way. You understand? You might have to do something. You know what I'm saying? So you got to start writing. I tell people all the time, it's not my passion to have
Yeah.
big cameras till this day. I don't enjoy it. Do you understand? But if I don't pick up my camera, if I don't do my shot list, if I don't write this script, no one's knocking or emailing me, even with everything I've already created for content. No one's knocking on my door to say, I want you to direct my film.
Mm.
As far as I know, I've got 4 films, and that was the point I was gonna make. I lost my train of thought in it. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to that thing when I lost my train of thought.
So good.
I've made 4 films, right? No. The position that I think I need to be in to thrive, right, and get funding, you have to have certain things in your bag corrected, right? You have to have your pitch pack finish, your script finish, maybe a script editor, mainly a script editor will probably have to do it. But even then, I'm seeing all of these different places as just ways other people are making money. If you read a book to a T and you understand what your script needs to be, then you should be able to do that shit yourself, right?
Mm.
But I know two people are better than one. But it depends on the time you put into something. My point is, I met a lot of people at this festival, right? And they've got the one script they've wrote, right? Or they've got an idea, right? I met a lot of people that were writers that have never written a feature film, which was like, what are you? Are you a writer? Like, I hear you, but you ain't written a feature film. I don't class myself as a writer,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I've written like four. Do you understand what I'm saying? My point is there's like I can't complain about not getting funding if the script that I want to be funded isn't finished.
Mm. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's get to that point first, then try and do everything that one is supposed to do. Production companies, sales agents, maybe getting paid to rewrite the scripts, by HBO or something like that. Send it to writers' rooms. I only recently, coming out of this festival, realized that, outside of getting funding for my films, I might have to get a job in a writer's room.
Mm.
And I wasn't against that. And I actually think that would be such a privilege to be in a writer's room. Because
Yeah.
I respect writers so much and I don't class myself as a writer. So to be included in one would be like, oh my God, like, okay, I know I'm a director and I know I can do all of these things, but thank you for letting me. I think writers are like the most smartest people in like this whole thing. They are, like, of course they are. What is this industry without writers?
Mm. Well, yeah, you need someone to have the story down, right? Now, I mean, you can do a film. There's been a few films and things that have been made where it's just, ad libs, right? But most, like 99% of the time, you're running off a script. So you need that
Of
person
course.
to put it down.
But my point is that you have one person. I think it's like the either or. Really, you could either have four ideas, haven't finished your scripts, haven't finished your pitch packs, right? Or you can have one film idea, you finish your script, you finish your pack. I don't think either of these are enough. Like,
No.
if you're not someone who's a creative, going to these festivals or whatever, and you ain't got at least 5 projects, yeah, a horror, a love, or whatever. Like, if you've got 20 scripts, you're in the best position possible.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And not a lot of people invest that time to
No.
do it.
Well, it is like I've been to a few comic festivals, right? And a question that is always asked, right? People go to these panels from DC and Marvel, like the big publishers, and they're like, how do I get my idea made by, Marvel? And people will always say, be like, oh, I mean, what have you published? And like, nothing. I'm trying to get my thing published by Marvel, and it's just like, why would they publish something that you won't publish yourself? Right? Why are they going to invest in you when you haven't invested in yourself?
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, if you have all of the, write them. You know what I mean? Write it down, or at least write a brief, a story outline.
Yeah.
If you might not be the best writer in the world, right? But you can create that story outline and go, hey, I've got these story outlines. I know the beats of the story. Here are my reference points. And I just need to try and link up with someone to help me refine.
Yeah.
That's something.
People don't ask for help. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about people that have kind of come through my path of filmmaking and then gone on to do their own, but excluded me from their process. You know what I'm saying? And it was very strange because it's very apparent that I'm much better than them at what we do in terms of creating. They had to step into my position as a film director to try and make their film. They don't have the skill of DOP and etc., but they've paid for people to be in that position to do it.
Yeah.
But they've taken essence from their experience with me, but then it excluded me in their wanting to control what they're creating. You understand what I'm saying? And I thought it was very strange because, No one wants credit for your idea, right? If you listen to my daily doses and you listen to me, I'm always trying to elevate everybody. There's things I've done for people that I haven't even put credit on, and I've given them the credit for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because not to say it's beneath me or anything like that, but it serves me to see you win more, right? And even when you're on one of my sets, right, I may have the last word, but I'm not against, or I even advocate for asking everybody what they think when I don't have the answer. When an actor asks, and it's rarely that an actor asks me something I don't know the answer, but if I feel something's missing from the scene, or someone noticed something's missing, all I ask is that you come to me first.
Yes.
Dan, do you mind if go on? What do you think? I feel like if the actor, if he tell him, and as I'm saying, don't tell me, you know. So all I wanted was that respect.
Yes.
To give you the platform, because it is my set. You tell him, because then it teaches you to be able to communicate with the actor, right? My point is I navigate all of these things from the runner down to the everything. You understand? Because no one is more white. Listen, we've all got ideas, and you know it ain't hard to see something and then have an opinion on top of that, right? It's easy. It's the easiest thing to do. 2 pence, right? They call it 2 pence, right? Yeah. I give that to anybody, but then when someone goes off and does their own thing and then they exclude you, who has more experience than them and is wiser than them in this field of filmmaking, and they, you know, everyone needs to make their own mistakes. Yes, but wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So why would you want to be in a position in the present where you have to learn the hard way, like some did 10 years ago, when you can actually just not feel threatened that someone's who knows more than you is standing next to you? Do you get what I'm saying? That nothing is served by removing people that are a bit more smarter than you and more experienced than you in something. It's still yours.
You know what? I see it all the time. You know what I mean? It's just like the amount of times I've been in rooms and when I've been trying to recruit people and stuff like that, and it's just like, yo, we need to bring this person in. And they'll be like, no. And we'll be like, why not? And be like, they might try and steal our jobs. And I'm just like, yo, what? I want to be in the room with the smartest people, right? Because steel sharpens steel. I want to go to you, be like, yo, Daniel, I'm thinking my idea for this film is this, right? And we do this and we get this, and this is where we end up with a character. And then you'd be like, yo, Kev, maybe instead of taking the person there, we go in that direction. And I might be like, I see what you're saying, Daniel, but I kind of want to go here because we don't really see that a lot. Or I go, you know what? That's a better place than what I was thinking of. Yeah, let's do it. But the ideas aren't bad, right? But what I always tell my teams is just come with anything, right? Because no idea is really a bad idea, because an idea that doesn't work still may lead me to the place we want to be.
Yeah.
Or might spark that creative thread to get to that next level. But people don't want that. People want to be in a situation where they and only they get the credit, right? Where they and only they will shine. You know,
even in a position when they're around people that are better than them.
Yeah, because it's a way, like, you know, the amount of times, right? I found out that in certain rooms, people have tried to take credit for all of my work.
Wow.
Right. And the problem is I'm having all the conversations, so everyone knows it's me. You know what I mean? But there's people who will try and take credit for that work, right?
Yeah.
Or if they're friendly with the directors and the CEOs, they get that credit, even though everyone knows they didn't do shit. Right? It's just the nature of certain people, man. So it's like, yeah, I get people be like, all right, let me get some experience from Daniel. Then I'm gonna go and do this thing, and we'll leave Daniel out. Because they're scared. They think if Daniel's here, he'll get the credit, or someone will look and think he's the one that did all of this thing. And it's just like, It's
Their
apprenticeship.
own insecurities. It must be
Yeah.
their own insecurities because there's only so much I can do to show that I'm for other people's success. I don't want to be the man at the top of the hill on my
Mm,
own. I don't know. I've never been. That's my trauma. I ain't comfortable just being in the condo on my own. Do you know what I'm saying? Looking at the Hollywood sign. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
I want to be with a strong 5, 6 people that I built this thing with. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? Those were the lessons learned when we was on the block. Like that's who knows what people truly would have done. Everyone's a snitch when they're in front of the feds, right? Um, I've been accused of these things. You know what I'm saying? Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But like the true rules of this thing is we doing it together, right? It's us feed them, right? And when we say us feed them, it's not us feed them because it's like it's a bit of an oxymoron, and it's double-edged sword. Because I'm glad that the music industry is collaborating, but I do like a good battle once in a while. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like all the collabs. I
Yeah.
think both is necessary.
Mm, mm.
You know what I'm saying? Both is necessary.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What did you
No.
take? What did you take? Like, what do you think the climate of our industry is after that festival?
As I said, like I think the quality of the indie films this year and the lower budget films, right? Because you've got the bigger budget stuff, right? And then you've got the even though it's the studio films, but they're not on the same budget, right? And I just thought the gap in between all of those films was a lot smaller.
Did you
So
watch the killer?
the what?
The killer.
Yes. Yeah, I've got the comic books that's based on, man.
Oh, it's based on a comic book.
Yeah, it's a French series, man.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, that must
Mm.
have been a low budget.
It's probably not a huge one. And when you look at it, there's not a whole heap of components really to make it huge in budget. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yeah.
the budget would come from the different filming techniques that you're utilizing and that.
What? Kev, why are you lying? The budget went to Michael Fassbender, yeah, and a combination of all the supporting actors made up his wage. You know this.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, he's getting yeah, no, Fassbender's making money off that film for sure. But
Little 5 mil.
huh?
Little 5 mil.
At least. I'd say at least.
Maybe 10. Yeah, I don't know how it works. Netflix,
I mean,
though.
Fassbender is a big name. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's taking home money for that film for sure. He is.
What did you think of it?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, my spa didn't like it. I respected it. I understood how it was made, and I understood what it takes for someone to hold the screen for as long as Michael did. I respect that, but my spa didn't like it. She fell asleep.
See, well,
I love Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, the difference with The Killer for me was, right, we've seen a lot of films about assassins, but usually dude, girl, turn up, set up gun, boom, dead. Now I'm free. But
Yeah.
in this one, we saw the detail, the minutiae, right? The fact that you're sitting for days waiting for that perfect shot. You're like, there's just the fact he's wearing gloves, he's cleaning everything off, he's got his escape routes planned out. There's usually the getaway is just, oh, I jump in a car and I'm escaping.
Yeah.
It's just like boom, but there's so many steps. And I enjoyed the fact that they showed it's more than what we usually see.
So like, it don't matter how many times you measure, you could still miss the target.
Yeah.
And I did. It was a hard pill to swallow because the amount of talking that was done in the beginning made me think this guy should be as good as he's saying. I'll waste my time talking all this perfection, and then you miss the fucking target after 20 minutes in. of just seeing your face. Do you know what I mean? And you talking. You know,
Mm.
it got long. I was hoping man was gonna bust it through the curtain. Do you know what I'm saying? And get it good. But like, and then the film was about, and that's why I respected the film. The film was about, you know, you can't be perfect in
No.
this world. You are human. Don't matter how
Mm.
much you train, how much you whatever, mistakes can be made, and emotions. You're a human being. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Well, it was like the mistake.
I
It
don't like all
wasn't
the black
really,
people he was killing though. That
huh?
ain't that ain't a diversity quota. He killed off a
Oh,
lot of black people.
yeah, yeah. But like the mistake, right? You think about it, it wasn't necessarily him because it was that woman just suddenly up, like stands up, like she's down, and then she suddenly moved. Like he had to show, and so it's just like there's so many things that can go wrong.
Django would have hit the target, yeah. Django would have hit that, yeah. And who's the Italian guy? Who's the Italian guy? What's the
um,
actor's name?
um, uh,
Fantastic actor. And he was
oh,
in Inglorious Bastards as well.
I can't think of his friggin' name,
But
but I
he's
know,
fantastic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He is like, he is the type. This is because look, obviously, you know, I'll be very like, I'll be all that all the time and all that type of shit, right? But him, a man like him, and he's acting, and Tom Hardy, and Leo, and Robert De Niro, and you know, Michael Scorsese, like these man show me that film, you know, it's not about the categories, it's not about the pockets, it's about the beauty of telling a perfect story. And sometimes it's not even perfect, it's imperfect. Do you know
Mm,
what I'm saying? But the raw truth in story, I feel, well, that's my bag anyway. I like the truth. That's
yeah.
why Flowers of the Moon, of the Killer Moon.
Yo, god damn.
Yeah.
That that was I enjoyed that film, but that
Mhm.
film was dark as fuck. That was one of those films where I don't know if I'm watching it again. It
What?
was no,
I'm
because it was
definitely watching that again.
no. What I mean when I say I don't know if I'll watch it again, right? There's certain films that I got on the docket to watch again, but it's not one of those ones that you can put on any time, right? You've got to be in the right mood for it because it's so draining. I was
You
so
think so?
it's because it's the inequalities, right? And when you think about like remember at the end of that
The
film,
inequalities in what though?
what of the justice, right? You think at the end of that film, no one was hung, right? No one faced a death penalty for all of those atrocities they did. And then you've got people like Emmett Till, who supposedly whistled at a girl and was hung. And he didn't even do it, right? But those people killed so many of the Osaka, right?
Oh yeah, it was 1912, innit? It was like 1912, innit?
Yeah. It was just so you're watching it and you're like, God damn it, people were fucking evil. So and like the you know what I mean?
Mm.
DiCaprio, he's like, I love you, but I still murked most of your family, right? It's just like,
That's what
what
was mad, though.
the
Like I don't know about Leo's role in that. You know, I mean, they said it was his greatest role. I think he's done so many other better performances than that one. Although he was fantastic and he's never played a role like that. But I didn't understand. He wasn't an outright racist or prejudiced like that. He didn't show me prejudice to show me the motivation for why he went as far as he did. I don't think I saw enough of the dimensions of his character. Maybe I got to watch it again.
well,
I truly believed he loved that woman, and I truly believed he had nothing against the family.
mm, I know,
So when he would do what the uncle was saying, it was like, what has your uncle done for you to, do you know what I mean? I hadn't seen enough from him to
no, but
understand his motivation to go
you
this
know,
far.
but you know what it was, Daniel. you know, how many times have you been in a situation with people, right? And they're like, fucking N word. No, 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 no. Not you, Daniel. You're one of the good ones. I'm talking about them, right?
But
And I feel
he didn't show no racism to
no,
anyone
no,
else.
no. But I think that's what because he didn't want to marry, he didn't have any interest in marrying her at the beginning. And it was the uncle that's just like, if you get with her, and his uncle was always like, look, we want the oil rights coming to us. So you need to do this thing to get us to get the thing. And Leo's character, he was easily manipulated.
Yeah, he's a yes man. That's
Yeah,
basically what it was.
yeah.
Yeah, he was just
So
he just did wherever the wind blew, he just
yeah.
followed it.
Is there was times he'd be like, oh, but the sister's okay. But he's just like, but we want those rights. And so he'd be like, okay. And then he'd do a thing. And so it was just like, you know, it's just, it's one of those frustrating things where it's like this person, you can think, oh, they're not that bad, right? But they let themselves do some horrendous things without really a lot of questioning or pushback.
And is it fair to say, because it's Martin, that it was intentional, that it was that level that we interpreted from Leo's character? Because again, he was very frustrating. He didn't seem like he was actually passionate about anything.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Apart from his children. Apart from his children, when his daughter died.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the most passion I saw.
Yeah, he was upset. I think it's one of those things because remember he just come back from war, right? And you have, you know, like soldiers come back from war and they just feel adrift. So you're clinging on to something, right? You're clinging on something to give you that guidance of what to do. And so because his uncle's the big muck of the town, so it's just like I'll listen to my uncle. I'll let my uncle guide me.
Man, you said something. You said something when you was talking about it when we first started talking about the movie, and I never thought about it the way you described it. When you were saying the atrocities that were happening in the Emmett Till, and you know, I appreciated. I suppose my overall take is I appreciate Martin for making this movie because he's a white Italian guy who he's Italian, right?
Yeah.
He's Italian, yeah. White Italian guy who made a movie that exposed the nature of white people in early parts of America. Or in you know, after slavery and that. Even when he showed the Tulsa bombings happening in that scene, it was like, okay, yeah, there's no black people in this movie, but him doing that was so intentional. And to highlight, it's like, that's like he's like he martyred himself in Hollywood. Like, unless they just think he's crazy, or you know, some certain people make YouTube movies that make everyone bro. He made a movie that exposed white people for killing Indians, yeah, stealing money. Like, who's allowed to make that movie? Like,
well, yeah, but remember, right? That film was originally, I think, at Universal. And they were just like, nah, it's going to cost too much. We're not making this film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that film has been floating around for a good few years. It wasn't until Apple were like, yo, we'll do it. If Apple weren't there, that film would have been made.
Well, it's tricky. But look at, you say Martin wrote it, right? Did Martin write it?
I think he's on the script. I think he co-wrote it, maybe.
It's so weird that the business is
on a book.
It's like I could write a script, the studio could buy it off me, and then like they could pay me, and in like 5 years it could be made, and no one's contacted me as they've made it because I don't own it, and someone else has just directed it, and like that's so weird. Like, it just shows there's such a lack. It feels like a lack of value to. Oh no, maybe it's not a lack of value. It's collaborative, isn't it? Because it's still a collaborative effort. Whoever first made that script.
Well, a lot of the time, depending on how many changes were made, the person that maybe did the first draft will still get a mention, right? Or that might be down as a co-writer. But I think a lot of the times it depends on how many changes, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what else did you enjoy?
Oh, hold on. Let me just so school. Yeah, he co-wrote it with Eric Roth.
So, but that's crazy because what like I'm not, I come from a world where I make my own movie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I make my own movie. It's mad to think Scorsese can't. Like, I don't like that these man don't self fund their own movies, man. Like, they've got so many millions. Like,
Yeah. I know
I
it's
don't like it, man.
well, Francis Ford Coppola has he's funding Metropolis, right? That
What's that?
film.
What movies? What's up with this?
It's a new film. I think it's
Is it
due
a
out
remake, right?
this year. No, it's based. It's either I think it's based on a book or it's a comic book or something like that. But it's a known thing, and I think it's kind of based around the Roman Empire type of thing. But no one wanted to fund it, and so it's been his passion project. He's wanted to make this thing for years, for decades. So he's
You know what? You know what's crazy?
funding.
It's weird because I always, when Daniel Kaluuya said it took him 9 years to make Kitchen, right?
Mm,
And I wrote a script probably 2018, right? It's called Snitch. It's based on something that happened to me. Um, the Snitch with a question mark, and it's when 2023, maybe 2024, and this is a movie that's on my list of films to be made to get funded.
yeah.
Technically, when I'm doing my Q&A for this movie, I will potentially say it's been 7 years in the making.
Mm, mm.
Even though I haven't been focused, I haven't looked at the script in 2 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's weird to include these 2 years as years in the making. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think there's, I've definitely talked to people, and it's just like, oh yeah, no, this film, it's been kind of 15 years in the making, 7 years in the making, this many years in the making. And as you said, right, how many of those years are creative years?
Yeah.
Where you're actually working on the thing, or were some of those years, let's put it on the back burner and I'll focus on this instead, right? So that is when you break down the years in which this was in the making, how many of those years, how much time was actually focused on pushing that forward to
Mm,
it just being in the background, thinking I'll come back to it at this point. That's
mm,
something that doesn't always get mentioned.
no, 100%. Talking of movies, did you get a chance to watch Ain't Hiding?
Not yet, man. Not yet.
Okay. No,
I'm.
no worries.
There's so many things on the docket.
I know,
Yeah.
man. It's weird. Like, but I'm trying to write a book. I have to edit this movie. I have to finish writing 2 scripts. I have to find a sales agent for Ain't Hiding Nothing. Um, and there's an idea to go to Antigua for 3 months and start a TV show
Okay.
over there because there's no original content in Antigua.
Uh,
So what we can do is do first season, 10 episodes, and sell it to the islands, the different islands, and get recognition for the country, for
yeah,
the
yeah,
island.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, Jamaica, Trinidad have big film communities. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Dominican Republic, and Antigua doesn't. So yeah, between all of those things, it feels like there's not enough time. Um, but I am learning that management of time is very important.
Yes.
You
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
know?
There's things I need to do to get in a place where I can be more productive. But it's a process, man. It's
You need to write with
definitely.
all your theories and reviews. You better start writing soon.
I've got a oh my god, my memory is just gone. It's gone. I've got an overview of a TV series.
Nice.
Um Yeah, an overview of a book that I was starting, but
Did
just
you read my script?
huh?
Did you read the script?
Not yet, man. Like literally, I
No, you ain't trying to make me. You're just trying to review movies all day. You ain't
nah,
trying to read.
nah. Look, no, there's things I want to do, but it's just like I finished at the festival, and then I went and like I did this interview for Dr. Jekyll that's coming out next week. So I went and
Okay.
did that. Then I had to interview. I interviewed someone about their short that was at the BFI. It's
So
just been like so many things. My
did you see? Did you see Torn?
no.
Okay, there's a movie called Torn, I know. Well, I recently met, but I built a cool relationship, man, with the director Jafar, man. He's from Denmark, and he's got a film called Torn that played in the BFI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I
wicked,
think
man.
it was a foreign language film, right?
Yeah,
I
and
can't do foreign.
it's shot in
Can't,
Jordan a little bit as well.
yeah, I can't do foreign language films, man.
Did
It's.
a foreign language film win the whole festival?
I think so. Yeah,
Japanese film or something?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
I can't see the subtitles, so it's just like there's just films I cannot watch, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
as hell,
I'm
man.
about to go and watch Lupis.
Okay.
I've never watched it. Have
You
you
have
watched it?
nah. You have to let me know how you find it, man.
What you mean, my man? Lupita, what's it called? Lupita, is it not Lupita? Lucy, the French guy, man, the black French guy in Book of Clarence.
It's Omar Sy.
Is that his name?
I feel so. Yeah.
The French guy.
Oh, Lupin.
Lupin.
Oh, the Netflix thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I've watched that. I've watched that.
I haven't watched it.
I thought the start of it is really strong. The second half I thought was okay, but not as strong as the first half. But
Are
I
you
know
talking
that,
about season 2 or season
yeah,
3?
no, I'm talking about season one, like the first part of season one. The season one was split into two.
Okay.
So this is season two has just started. So I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, I thought it was season 3.
No, it's because they split season one in two.
Also, the story from the origin of it is still going.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Prison Break or something.
It's the what?
Do you know that Prison Break? Even through season 4, it's the same. Like, whoa, doing it. They're on a run, and it's only been a few years. And
I couldn't watch Prison Break, man.
what? What do you
I
mean?
well, you know the thing that threw me out of prison, why I just couldn't get into Prison Break, right? Because when he went into Tattoo Place and was just like, put this on my back, and it was like one sitting. I'm just like, you're not doing that in that amount of time. That's stupid. And then I couldn't get past that, so I just didn't watch anymore.
Wait. You haven't watched the whole season of Prison Break yet?
No.
Are you talking about you couldn't watch past the pilot?
But yeah, because I just thought it frustrated me. I'm just like, a back tattoo that size takes a lot longer than what you did.
You've done yourself a disservice still. You've done yourself a disservice. You better go watch that tonight. Right?
I think it's on
Now, I wonder
Disney
what else you want to watch.
starting.
You seen Prison? You seen Breaking Bad?
I've seen up to the last season. I haven't watched the last season yet.
Of Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
I can't take you seriously as a filmmaker, man.
Yeah.
Are you talking about film or TV? Are you talking about is TV and film different for you?
No, they're the same. But the problem is, right? And with I liked Breaking Bad, and I thought there's some great episodes, but it was there was a darkness about it. And I'm watching it and I'm just like, I need to get into the light a little. I can't just watch it back to back to back. I need a little break in between because this is just like.
Well, when was the last time you watched season 6 or whatever?
It was, I think I got to that point at the end of last year. But
Oh, okay. It's not been that long then.
No. But there's just so many
Wait,
things.
you only started watching it last year?
No, because I started watching it and then ages ago, and then I forget where I was watching it, but I didn't have access to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, and as this podcast has grown, I'm getting so many films sent and TV shows as well now. I'm getting so many TV shows. And so it's just
Yeah.
like, I do not have enough hours to get through
What
some.
was you? Are you part of a? How did my distributor contact you?
Oh, so you use Strike Media for Yes Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they contacted me, and then I had to really badger to try and get the conversation with you.
Oh yeah.
And
But I think we did that through our own, innit? Through our own. Like, I think I commented on your review or something like that, and then you
oh,
messaged
yeah.
me.
So we worked that out. But I was like to them, can I? And they're like, we'll try and work something out. We'll try, and they just didn't, you know. But it's
Hmm.
something I found because they don't even fuck with me anymore. For
What do you
what?
mean?
I don't even know. They just stopped sending me emails and responding
But
to
did you get emails after mine, though?
a few.
Okay.
But yeah, they just stopped. They've disappeared. But it's cool because other people
Yeah.
come through, man. So it's just one of those things, you know what I
I
mean?
always, I always desired to do a podcast, but like on movies. But I feel like I desire being the film director that is behind the camera and doesn't have 50 million views on Instagram, or maybe I've got two, because they know my
Mm,
movies that well, like Christopher Nolan or some shit, right? But I'm such a speaker. Do you know what I mean? But I know they're gonna crucify me. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I'm crucified. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
yeah.
trying to. When you ask me, like, I ain't really been doing a lot of interviews like lately. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, cause
Mm,
I be talking too much. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And not everyone got to know how you play your cards. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, but I'm so passionate that the truth just comes out, and let God
Mm,
strike me down if I'm not telling the truth. Do you know what I'm saying? My truth is my truth, and I should be allowed to tell my truth. You
yeah.
understand what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against nobody. You understand? But I've been
Mm,
doing this thing for a long time, and I work hard. I dedicated my life to this. You understand? To not be allowed to tell my truth at the risk of offending someone else. Do you know what I'm saying?
mm,
And I realized coming out of this industry, um, coming out of this event, this festival, that it is the place to be around like-minded people in terms of the film community.
yeah.
Everyone we spoke to was lovely, isn't it? Like the love for film is so infectious and beautiful to be around. Um, but then again, I did feel like an outcast at times.
Mm.
And I couldn't see that person. I couldn't, and I don't mean just looking at other black faces. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't see any. And we can all grow up in poor environments. Everyone had it hard, and their parents had to work 3 jobs and all of this. But I have a very specific background, and my specific background, its culture is very loud when it comes to the music industry. They're what they talk about and what is the life I grew up in, right? So to be in the position I am now, where I've got an industry pass, going to the BFI, right? I've done 2 feature films, coming from where I've come from, like them places.
Mm.
Them lot don't think they can be where I'm sitting. So
Yes.
I ain't just sitting there. I'm trying to break down barriers. I want my friend, my cousin who's an electrician to think he can be a spark. Do you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
want, my friend who produces amazing music to watch a scene and interpret the scene and the emotion of the scene and create music for that scene. They don't they learn on Fruit Loops. Do you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And Logic. They don't want to watch no scene over and over and over again and produce music to it.
yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard, Kev. It's so hard. Like trying to revolutionize a whole generation. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Um,
man, you know what I mean? You're preaching to the choir. I completely get it because it's like there's so many barriers, right? And my aim is to try and break those down, right? So people don't have to struggle as much, right? All the things that I've had to do to try and get to where I'm at, it shouldn't be that difficult, right? So it's about trying to help the next man, you know, but it's a difficult thing, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, I enjoy these conversations. So it's just
Come on, all day.
keep on pushing, man.
I'm
And
sure you got some more coming.
oh
So
man.
wait, what's the film of the festival? Just in closing.
All right. Well, okay. Let some I will tell you some of the highlights for me.
Okay.
Right. I thought, as I said, I enjoyed The Killer. I
Yeah,
liked some Shortcomings, right? Which I
I
thought
heard
was,
it. Yeah.
because I heard it wasn't very good. Just before I was gonna, you know, started the festival, and then I watched it and I was like, I enjoyed that, right? I enjoyed Hitman, Richard Linklater. Linklater, I love his films, and I enjoyed Hitman. Um, Killer of the Flower Moon was great, right? Um,
I think it was more important than it was a super great film.
well, but that's the thing, like it's great because it dealt with a subject matter we don't always see.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
and it
100.
didn't try to sugarcoat anything, because there's a
Yeah,
lot of films like, and they try and sugarcoat, right? It's like I remember in Lincoln, and they try and go that Lincoln did, you know, he dissolved slavery. Abraham Lincoln still had slaves after that point
in the movie.
in life.
No, but in the movie, did he still have slaves?
No, I don't believe so. I think
Uh,
after he makes the debt, then it's done, right? But and so that's the thing I respected about Killers, because it's just like it showed these people for just being the disgusting pieces of shit that they were, you know? And
uh, uh,
even when the FBI came, they only came because they got paid to come.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It
yeah,
wasn't out of, you know, like, oh, this horrible stuff is going on, we need to go. Be like, no, they came because they got paid to come.
yeah. And I get that's why it was so important what you said about the Emmett Till point, because people thinking they were doing something for justice of a black person whistling at a white woman, and what the levels they went to for so-called justice, right?
Mm,
What you telling me, FBI for justice of killing citizens of America only did their job as government officials because they were privately paid.
yeah, it's
I
crazy.
didn't even see that. I did, like,
See,
when watching a movie. See, when you said it in the beginning of our conversation about that, so I didn't even think about it like that. I thought, they've put these men in jail. They've done their job. The people that were
mm,
representing Robert De Niro in legal term, my man, who's a whale now, like I thought they were the scumbags. I didn't think those that were trying to prosecute them man were scumbags, because they were doing their job. Like, you know what I mean?
ooh. I mean, and remember, he got out of jail at the very end, it said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many
so
years did he do?
he didn't even spend the rest of his life rotting, right? He eventually got out. So it's
They were
just like,
serial killers.
yeah, they were. The amount of bodies they have on them, right? Because in the course of the film, we saw them, I think, kill 30 people, 35 people. There was a lot more
Whoa.
people before that. So it's
So a
just
lot of
like
people.
they've got bodies on them, more than most serial killers we know of.
More than the killer had in that movie.
Yup. Which
So
is
what else?
crazy. It's a
Did you see
crazy.
Grandkids? You didn't see Grandkids.
No.
Grandkids. It's a TV show though. What else did I watch? The Bikers. Did you Bike Riders? Did you watch Tom Hardy Bike Riders?
Yeah. I watched that one. I watched that
What do
one.
you think of that?
I really enjoyed the first half of the film.
Oh yeah, you said
I,
that.
I thought
Yeah.
the last part of it, I thought the focus kind of went.
Yeah.
There were issues that I just thought how is no one speaking on that? Right? I thought, was the red dress thing a conspiracy? Right? I'm like, how's Tom Hardy not thinking this could go south? Right?
Mm.
How is no one like complaining about what went down? You know what I mean? There was a lot, there was things in the film that I think I was just like, how, why aren't we addressing this thing? And
Mm.
that was like, it wasn't that it's a bad film or anything like that. I just, there were just questions. I had so many questions where I'm just like,
Is
ah.
it is it wrong? Is it wrong to feel like you want to see black people in those movies?
Well, for this is the thing I think about, right? And this is the problem I find with quotas and the whole, you know, you need this many people in front of the camera and this kind of thing, because it's the type of story you're telling. When you're telling a certain story, you're like, it's like Bridgerton. Now, like, as I've spoken about Bridgerton with my boy Marcus Flemings. What up? Big up, right? But I love the fact that black people are given, and you know, other minorities are given an opportunity to be in these big things. That's great, but that's not the reality of that time, you know. And when you're talking about, you know, that, oh, we should change Sound of Music because of certain things that are shown in that film, or put a
What's shown in the film?
I think it's like the Nazi stuff, and there's a lot.
What?
I've never
It's
watched
in the
Sound.
Sound of Music.
Yeah,
I ain't watched it in
no,
years.
I've never watched it, but I think because it's about the war. I think there's a bit of stuff about the
But
war.
wait. Can I just say something? Can I ask you something though? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you said it's not of that time. Yeah, the
Mm.
bike riders. When was it set?
Gosh, I think it's in the 60s or 70s.
And what area was it again?
Shit, was it San Francisco?
All I know, yeah, is that as much as for a lot of white people or American people, white Americans, their reality is them at the center of it.
Mm.
There were minorities there.
Oh,
Now,
yeah,
film
no,
and
for sure.
news will make it seem like there's a certain category of people that exists. That's why when I was in class and the feminists put their hand up and was like, "This is an example of male." I'm like, "You're not talking about black men, bruv. You're
Mm.
not. You're not. Because tell me in what history of this civilization do you have, and I don't mean the individual case of like a scumbag guy who disrespects his woman, you know what I'm saying, or disrespects his wife, or disrespects a female. Let them man burn, bruv. I don't respect no man that disrespects their woman, you understand? But let's not act like there's this pandemic of black men like oppressing white women in society. Like what? Like this like I thought, and I feel like the disrespect is that when a white girl's saying that, she's talking about her own white man. You're talking about
Mm.
him pressing you.
Mm.
And
Mm.
the
Mm.
fact that you're trying to blend the two as if, you know, the black man and woman didn't get the right to vote at the same time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like her being a black woman and your interest in her wasn't to, you know, take the black man away from the black woman. Like, don't act like you wasn't having your family all set up nicely while you know, why black women now today saying they don't need no man. Like, bro, like any child needs a man and woman in the house. Like, it big you up for raising your kid on your own. I was raised by a single mum. You understand what I'm saying? But my mum never acted like a man wasn't necessary for my upbringing. You
Mm.
understand? Like, that don't even make sense. Like that's not complete. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it
Yeah,
don't make sense. You
yeah,
understand?
yeah.
But it's very frustrating. It's
Mm.
very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. You know, the male. It's like, bro, like I don't even. I was in a rugby team, right? And I love my rugby team. You get me? But they reminded me every day that I was black.
Oh, of course.
You know, trying to just blend in, and I was at a state of mind where I wasn't even trying to embrace my culture at the time. I
Mm-hmm.
was very much on a hatred for my culture and the streets and the lies that were told about being a part of the street life. Do you know what I'm saying? No one don't stand for everyone's for themselves. Capitalism goes down to the root of poverty. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't just in the rich. Poor people do the same
Oh,
thing. You
yeah. There's a
oppressed
hierarchy in
people will
everything.
come together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but sorry, man, go off on a tangent.
No, no,
What's the highlight?
no. So yeah, what other ones did I see? So there was also what were we saying? We were saying like the Book of Clarence obviously was outstanding, but the holdovers, I enjoyed the holdovers. All of Us Strangers was crazy.
All
That
of Us Strangers. I ain't watched it.
Oh shit. It was about a guy living in a high rise. It was virtually empty, but there was another guy there. And so they're navigating their lives, and then you find out some stuff, and it was really well done. It was really well done. Really. So that was good, right? I thought Fingernails really good, right?
Wow.
Maestro really good.
I heard about Maestro.
Yeah, Maestro was really good. Fingernails was really good. The End We Start From, really enjoyed that. Right. Then you had there was short films, right? I saw this great short film called Boat People, which I spoke to the director, had a great conversation. That should be up by now.
Did you watch The Mission?
The what?
The Mission.
No.
The documentary about the guy that went to that sacred island.
Oh, yeah,
Tribe.
no, there's subtitles, so I didn't watch that one, but I know
No,
that
man,
story.
it was in English.
I read there were subtitles on that.
No, I mean when he goes to the tribe, they will. Yeah, I mean the tribe people will talk because they don't speak English, obviously. But like, it's a majority English scholars talking on it. You
Was
know,
it?
people that did missionary work,
Uh,
and then years later they're kind of reviewing. You know, they're bilingual now. You know what I mean? They've learned the
yeah,
language. You know, but yeah,
because that is a crazy story. That's a
so it was a good
crazy
one. That
story.
was an important movie because it exposed the fact that missionaries, those that are missionaries till this day, you
Mm,
know, and it kind of exposed those that it's weird because I always have this split feeling about people that go into Africa and go and feed the kids in Africa, right?
yes.
Um, Out
Yeah.
of context, it's a beautiful thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Uh,
saying? In context, bro, this is
yeah.
the same history, and you look exactly the same as the people that took everything from them in the first place.
Mm,
And you think it's just what the leaders of these countries now that are just raping the country. No, the countries Africa's been getting raped for 500 years. You
yeah.
understand? Like, at what point does the author get to put their hands up and take credit for what they've done to the countries that are like this today? You know,
Mm,
what author, what is it? Only Willie Lynch. I read the Willie Lynch book when I was in Antigua doing that short film. And they said you put the young versus the old, you put the males versus the females, you put the darkest against the lightest, right? And that practices is still here till today. So when
mm-hmm.
people go in, black people don't stick together, not only do we, what race of people stick together because race is a construct that isn't based on anything real anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And culture is actually something. I don't speak Ghanaian or Nigerian, or I mean, and I know that's not even a language. Even look at my ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many cultures in it. You
Yeah,
understand what
yeah,
I'm saying? But they still group us together because of a group of oppression,
yeah.
right? But actually, there's so many different there's so many mutual things that actually bring us together. Do you know what I mean? And it's those that are in a certain power that want to maintain their power, that like to put everyone else in categories so they
Mm,
can control everybody and divide us. Do you know what I'm saying? So we don't work together.
yeah. No, it's divide and conquer, man. You know what I mean?
Divide and conquer.
Hmm. Yeah. Um. Oh God, yeah. There's a really good short film called Blood that I really liked. About it was, oh God, was it a Punjabi wedding? It was an there was an Indian wedding, and it was dealing. A woman had a miscarriage.
Period.
Well, it's a
Oh,
miscarriage, but they were thinking it's a period, and to go to no, it wasn't a wedding. It was like their version of a bar mitzvah, right? So the girl reached an age, and so to go to that event having a period is very bad form, right? It's bad luck, bad juju.
yeah.
But and so
Okay.
they thought it was that, and then when they realized it's a miscarriage, then the whole tone changes. And so it's a
Is the husband the father of the child?
yeah, he's there. He's there.
Okay.
Right. Because they're all there and they're like, how could you come when you're having your period? And she's like, it's not a period. And then the husband's like, it's not a period. And then the
Oh,
penny drops and they realize, fuck. But then everyone embraces the woman and just like, yo, come. Look, we know. We've experienced
okay.
this. And it's
And
a
it's good story,
really
yeah.
nice film. Really nice film.
Oh,
Really
nice.
well done. Very well done. Like I really liked Essex Girls. I thought
I
that,
wanted to see that.
yeah, that was good. That was very good.
There was one that was the first week of the festival, about a black girl pregnant. Um, I don't know if it's called Queen something or what was it called, man? See, I think you didn't watch it. I think it was kind of
No,
American based. What was it called? Uh, I don't know. I lost it.
nah. I mean, there was so many things, man. There
Because I
was
don't want to go on it. I don't want to go on my delegate thing while I'm on the phone to you
yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
using my phone. That's cool.
yeah. But yeah, those short films were really good.
Mm.
But like all the Dirt Road's Taste of Salt was really interesting. But yeah, I think like my favorite film, like the Book of Clarence it just did something for me. The book,
Nice, man.
I think it was that, you know, it was the way that, like with Harder They Fall, right? It was the way the music blended in. It was like that dance scene.
Yeah,
Oh, like that dance scene, it invoked like the original house party. It
yeah.
invoked all of these little
Because
things.
it's
Like,
our culture, isn't it? It's
yeah,
our
it was
culture
beautiful.
in its most brightest form, in our most
Mm,
saturated form,
yeah,
unapologetic as well.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Because
felt so proud when, sorry to cut you, I felt so proud being in, because I watched it both in the Royal Hall, right? And I was just fascinated by how many English people were in there for this black movie. I was thinking, like, oh my God, like they actually queued up to buy this ticket, right? To
mm,
see this full cast of black people, right? I love stuff like this. Like,
yeah.
that's how much we don't believe in ourselves, right? That we're so happy just to have white people in the audience for us, right? And like just seeing that moment when they're dancing and seeing some of the elders, like good 70 years old, 75, and seeing this, the black woman do the little dance. And I was so
Mm.
proud for them to see my culture. You understand what I'm saying? And see the thing that gives me so much joy in the world, that it just felt beautiful to share it, even though I didn't create it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
to belong
No,
to something to let
yeah,
them see it.
and just the detail in the production, right? Like I think I talked to you about that shot at the very beginning when we're following the car, and
Yeah.
just the way the camera pans round and moves, and it was just and the dialogue, man. I love the flow of the dialogue. There was a rhythm
Mm,
to it. You know what I mean? It was just those
yeah.
elements that really spoke to me with Book of Clarence, right? Because there was other films that I really enjoyed, as I said, like, you know what I mean? Because I really enjoyed The Kitchen, right? I really enjoyed
Why
Short.
do you think Book of Clarence was better than The Kitchen?
I Hmm. I don't know. I think the kitchen was. I think maybe because the kitchen was more. It is kind of more of a reality, right? It's just like, oh, I've seen myself in that situation.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Where the Book of Clarence, that's escapism. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But
I
the
get
but
you.
the kitchen is a bit more close to home. It's a bit like, ah, shit,
And,
right?
and, it, and
I've been
it did.
tripped up by police, right? I've been,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, in situations where you're like running and trying to
yeah,
escape it. So it's a bit like, you know, but it was still really well done, right? I
mm,
thought it was really well done. So, but it's hard always because Poor Things as well. I thought Poor Things was tremendous.
I didn't even. I saw these things, but I didn't. It's too much. I was sick. Remember the whole festival? I was sick.
Mm,
So you done marvelous watching these movies.
yeah, that there was a thing. It was like getting home and just feeling I was feeling rotten every every day getting
You
home.
got to wake up at like 6 in the morning to get
Oh,
there, innit?
well, yeah. Well, I was getting up at 5 every day, right, to get ready to leave the yard. So it's getting up mad early, and then because I've got a situation with my joint, so sitting in a position for like 2-3 hours is not
Mm,
the best situation. So like doing that
yeah,
multiple times a day, you know what I mean? But it was just like it's enjoyable seeing so many different types of film, right?
yeah.
And seeing the different voices shown, right? Because the thing I liked about Shortcomings was it was an Asian film, but not. Right? It's like Harder They Fall was a Western, and it wasn't going, it's a black film, it's a black film. It was just a film with a superb black cast. Right? It's like Black Panther was a superhero film with a black cast, black back end. But
Does it matter? Does it matter that the masses won't label it that way?
I mean, people gonna label shit how they want to label shit. But it's like
Yeah.
but it's like you can look at it and you know what it is,
A
right? And
black film.
well, yeah.
No,
But it's like you had Crazy Rich Asians, which was huge.
an
And
Asian
that,
film.
yeah, that was the Asian film, right? But then
But you know what? Because people don't see themselves in other races of people.
no, but that's crazy. Because like I can watch a film and go, I was in a situation like that.
100%.
Right. And so I don't necessarily need to, and come on, there's not many people that look like me on screen. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
That yellow man. You know that yellow man. You know that
yeah,
yellow man. The most famous. You know that yellow man.
yeah. I met Yellow
He-
Man back in the day, you know.
You're lying.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like royalty in Jamaica. Like
yeah.
he's like royalty. Like
Yeah, he was doing a thing at Capital Radio, I remember, and I went
oh,
there
is
back
it?
in the day and had a conversation with him.
Okay, that's amazing, man.
Uh,
Yeah, he's big out here, bruv. Yeah.
mm,
Where you
but
from again?
I'm Nigerian, man.
I swear down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I thought he was Caribbean. You know. Like, look at that. So look at that. Because of all of oppression, we connect. So wait, how you ain't correct to me when I said I don't speak Nigerian? You're supposed to know.
Thing,
What's it? Aruba. Is
yeah,
it? Or is that?
yeah. Well, Yoruba is one tribe, right? My parents were Yoruba, but I don't know my parents. I was adopted, so
Oh wow, I didn't know
I have
that.
no real connection
Oh
to
wow.
there. And also, obviously, there's issues with me going back. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to get
Still,
chopped
it's
up.
still like that.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is this my site is bullshit. I'm not gonna see someone, you know what I mean, looking at me in certain ways. So I'm just gonna be like, hey, how are you doing? Oh shit, why are we
Yeah.
going here? Oh, why you got that machete? Ah, fuck. You know what I'm saying? So there's
Nah,
certain
it ain't like that, bro. Like
nah,
that's the West makes you think, man.
No, but it's still it is still a thing. It
I
is,
did see a documentary about it.
yeah,
I did. I
it
did.
is.
But I thought that
But
was
that's
more
the
the
thing.
young people.
Like the fact, like it might not be as prevalent, but it's just can mans be taking certain
I
risks,
hate you.
you
I
know?
hate you.
But yeah, so I don't. Yes, I don't know the language and all of that stuff, you know, which puts you in a weird situation because you know. So I wouldn't be recognized as Nigerian, but I'm not recognized as English. So you're in a no man's land, you know.
Yeah,
It's a
I
weird
hear you.
place to be at times.
I hear you.
But I think you can. But for me, you know, it's looking at this stuff and being able to try and break it down in a way. So I look at stuff and be like, "Yo, I was in a situation like that. I get that." And you know, it could be an Asian person, a white person, an Indian person. It doesn't really matter, right? I'm just like, is this story good? Right?
Yeah.
Did they construct it in a way that makes sense? You know?
Yeah, but you know what though? And again, this is my pessimism again, right? That's 100%. I told you my experience in my rugby team. I wanted to be like everybody else. I
Mm.
was reminded by them that I am
Oh yeah,
different.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you're not one of us. So it's like, how comes you do that? And I'm like, well, we all do something alike. Do you know what I mean? Like, I put this in my hair, you put that in your hair. You don't understand why I put this in my hair, but it's because you think I'm some type of animal. Like, you don't understand that I have hair follicles just like you. Do you know what I'm saying? And mine are different because of the sun. And
Mm.
that already shows me the society we live in, they don't teach history properly. You understand what I'm saying? So with film, listen, I love bike riders, bro. But like, am I gonna see another bike riders come out with someone as great as Tom Hardy and see like, you know, not just a black supporting actor, you know what I'm saying, or just a black, like there's gonna be a real multicultural, the story's the same, it doesn't have to be about race, it doesn't have to be fantasy like Bridgerton, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just a film.
Mm.
And
Mm.
you know, like they're from Boston. There are black people in Boston. Okay, yeah, but who knows if I will complain if you're talking about the film and then like they whitewashed it because no one spoke about the racism, right? Because
Yeah.
that was my point about the bike riders thing. It's based in the 60s or whatever. You understand what? There was no black people anywhere. And
Yeah.
what up until the 60s, then that just shows me that my understanding of my history and the abuse that black people got and their reality every day was being abused by white people. In white people's stories or whatever, they like them attacking black people in the street just for the sake of it or beating someone up wasn't what a part of their memory when retelling their story. That was just so normal in your thing that you just don't talk about it in films, but
Well,
yet we
no,
talk about it
no,
every time we make a film.
no, you leave it out the film because you're like, oh, that'll make us look bad. So let's not put that in there, and we'll just show this other stuff.
So you don't think that we just obsess over it too much, and so that you know,
Nah, no. Well, the amount of times I watch something, right? Do you remember Black Klansman?
yeah, black KKK, Spike
Yeah,
Lee,
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
Denzel's son.
Yes, right. My thing with that, because remember, there was only one racist police person, and I'm just
No,
like,
they're all pretty racist. They just sweep it under the rug.
yeah. And so I'm just like, come on, there would have been more, right? There would have been more. And we didn't, it wasn't a true reflection of what was actually going down. And a lot of times with films, you don't see a true reflection of what went down, which is a problem, you know?
But film is difficult because when you add so many elements to a script or a scene, it's like when you reviewed Yes Man, right? And we spoke about the
Mm,
COVID bit, and it was like, is this necessary? So if
yeah.
all of a sudden they, you know, whatever he brings to work for lunch, right, and they shit in it or some shit or something like that. The narrative isn't about him going undercover for the Black Clans or for the KKK anymore. It's the treatment that he's receiving in reality as a police officer.
Yes.
And that narrative of the film is different. So I do understand in terms of the structure of film that you can't always add the true racism that went on, because then the film will be about racism. You know what I mean? Not about the human experience. You know, so I get it, but it's still a disservice. You should at least, you know, if you're gonna say that in the Bike Riders that the members in it weren't black because it wasn't true to reality, then you should put a bit of racism then. Tom Hardy probably was a fucking racist, bro, in that movie of the time.
Well, I imagine there was a thing where it's just like, you know, we're looking for these people to be members, not you. You know?
And what at least you're saying, they should at least say that you're saying.
Well, something like this. Remember, it's like in True Romance, right? And when oh god, it was in the caravan, and Christian Slater's dad is talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, you're from Sicily. Oh, so you're like black people." You know what I mean? And it's just like, because they hated black people, so they didn't have any sort of reference to that, and so you understood what these people were. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like you can show someone's nature. You could have something where they're talking about, all right, so who are we gonna let into, who are we looking to recruit to be in this gang, man? Because I mean, we could go down to that road and be like, no one from that fucking road. And you know that road's black.
But again, you need the lead character to be liked. So I don't, even white people don't like seeing other white people be racist. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's certain things are problematic, so you don't put them in a script. You don't talk about them, right?
Yeah, and I understand. As I said, I understand, but it's still, I'm a bit selfish because it's not like we've had all the opportunities to be in cinema. Do you know what I mean? And it's not that we haven't been on screen, because, you know, even I was talking to that guy yesterday, and he felt like, you know, black people have had more of a chance than Asians. Do you know what I'm saying? And maybe that is true, but we ain't come from somewhere else after America was built. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we was building it, so we are not on the same playing field on who should get it more than anybody else. You understand? And if majority of white people take up the screen, you know, it's not a case that black people like Dwayne Johnson and all Tyrese Gibbons, right, in Fast and Furious aren't in certain positions, but bro, like, do you don't think we want to be desirable? You don't think that the black man or the black woman is a beautiful human being as well? Well, we always got to be the clown. We always got to be the fool. We always got to be the comic relief. We always got to be like, you know, every you know, bare leads with their chiseled jaw and their dimples, but yet it's always some overweight like minority or something, or someone who's just funny and not fit. But bro, like, I'm not saying that they don't deserve representation, Lizzo and all that, but don't change the narrative and move like you're not more than happy to see what is considered, not just in our community, because you got, you know, as soon as, you know, I love the Dell from early, but let's not act like as soon as she didn't drop a couple pounds, she's now everyone moving that she's Marilyn Monroe reincarnated or something. Like, what are we talking about here? So want man to say that, bro, like someone like Lizzo, you know, if we choose, we would put Beyonce. I mean, Beyonce's queen anyway. You understand? But Beyonce's not queen necessarily just because we put her there, because they accept her more than anything. You understand what I'm saying? My point is, we don't get our most desirable, you know, nation. You know, what is seen as desirable is Idris in these movies. You know what I'm saying? Is you know what I'm saying? Is Kane Robinson gonna go and do 007? Well, he can't do it. Get love,
question, because you said that.
Go on.
Do you actually want a black James Bond?
I want black people and a franchise for black people to be seen as high as James Bond is.
Yes.
So as much as flying the flag for Idris when he did Luther, which was a fantastic movie, You know,
Mm.
okay, sorry, I said fantastic. I'm a pro black bag, right?
Yeah.
Right, it was a great movie, right? Um, who's making 20 of those? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
James Bond is already in the fabric, right? And yeah, we need to change our mindset. You know, James Bond started with the first one. You know what I'm saying? And then what? 50 years on? How many years on? 70 years? I don't know. When did they make James Bond?
Thing in the 50s, George Lazenby. I think that
Let's
was.
say 70 years then. 70 years of James Bond, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need 70 years of Luther. You know what I'm saying? Who
Mm.
maybe Damson Idris's children will end up being the next Luther. You know what I'm saying? But then we ain't picky on a white person taking Luther's place. It's
Mm.
not our problem. Like everyone moves like someone. People are gonna watch this, right? And they're gonna think that, bro, this guy, like, he's proper like on this race thing, as if I created race. If it's like I benefit from mentioning race, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I would love to walk in a room full of white people and not be, oh yeah, that black guy in the corner. How else do you describe me?
Mm.
How else do you describe me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's that guy who's made 4 films and has some really great ideas, right? It's I think a lot of times it's you're not describing someone on the outward appearance, right? You're describing someone on what they bring to a table.
Well, that's what you should do. That's not what
Yeah.
people do.
No. And that's the problem.
Of course. And I suppose we spoke a lot about reality and a lot of social issues. These are metaphorical subject matter that applies to the film industry as well.
Mm.
Don't think all these people watching, don't think that the film industry is anything different than what I've been talking about in social issues. Film is recreating life, social issues. What are we talking about here? Whoever's watching this and don't realize that half the social issues we've been talking about doesn't apply to the film industry, then they've just chosen to see what they wanted to see by listening to this.
Well, yeah, there's so much evidence that shows all the bullshit that's happened in the film industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All the barriers people put up, all the things they've tried to hide under the carpet, you know?
100%.
But yeah. No, so my thing is, right, I don't want a black James Bond. I don't want a black James Bond because, right, don't just give me a rehash. Give me something new.
I want David Craig to do it forever.
I mean, he's a good James Bond.
He's the best.
And when you think about it, right, he's 007, and there are plenty of other 00s. So what I would do, you know what I mean? I would bring in a character, have them 005, right? And so they'll appear in several James Bond films, and then you branch it off into its own franchise.
That'll have to be a TV show. That's going to be TV.
But you can do that because it's not like you can send a black person to every part of the world. You know what I mean? Like we couldn't go undercover in certain places. It ain't gonna work. You're gonna be like, why is that dude here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they're gonna act like it's not that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not that.
Exactly. So a black James Bond ain't gonna work, right? But you would have these different agents that you could send into different situations. So you can have an Asian, you can have a black, you have a few female, you know what I mean? Just all these different agents that you would send. At the whole point, you've got 001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I would do. You know,
I agree.
having a black James Bond. No, keep James. You can.
I'm just sick of remakes. How about that? I'm sick of remakes. Like, I always said this, and I believe this to be true. Yeah. If minorities told their own stories, yeah, there would be so many new projects. Because one thing I know about my culture is we pride ourselves on not repeating ourselves too much, yeah, and not creating the same thing and being different. We pride ourselves on this. And one thing I know about this Western world, they don't like being different. They like the same shit. That's why horror, that all this shit is the same. Do you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Don't get me wrong. I love Conjuring. I love P.S. I Love You. I love Law Abiding Citizen. I love The Dark Knight. You understand? There's like 15 or 12 Batman movies, bro. Like, there's no other superhero. Like, what are we talking about? Batman's my favorite. What are we talking about here? What, they're gonna make a Ghostbusters 3? Like, another remake? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, where's the new characters? You understand what I'm saying? Where's the new people, the new movies? You understand? So listen, big up the Western world, because you know certain what's the word, privileges we have, is lovely.
Mm.
Going back to the war zone that is back home, where our original home is. You know what I'm saying? They've done very well to take riches and better this cold climate. You know what I'm saying? And make us think this cold place is better to live than where the sun hit best, right? Big them up, like. But new movies have to get told. Fast 10. I big up Vin Diesel, but 10 of these motherfuckers. 10. 10. You're going to give us 10. Like, real 10.
And remember, like the first film, they were just mechanics. Now they're fucking superhero spies. You know what I
They were just mechanics, bro. They were just mechanics. And now there's flying cars through the tower buildings in Dubai. Yeah, jumping like
which
something.
makes that I tapped out, right? Because I'm just like, you understand that's reinforced glass, right? To smash through one window is going to slow down the projection of that vehicle. To
Okay.
then have the speed to get through a next window, it's not working. It's not
What they
working.
like? Shoot the glass first or something, like, before they go through. But when the pockets are done like that, it's good. When like a man jumps in the car, realizes he's got to hit full throttle, but he starts shooting the window in front. Them little pockets where it's like, yeah, he knows how to do this thing properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to think who does that, man. What movie did I watch and they do that? There's a movie where they shoot the front windscreen mirror and then they kick the window out so they could drive better. I think it's Bad Boys. I don't know if it's Bad Boys.
I don't know if it's Bad Boys, but it's definitely, we've definitely seen it
I love stuff like that.
It makes sense.
I love stuff like that. Serious. I gotta love you and leave you, Kev.
Yeah, man, this has been tremendous. So 67th London Film Festival was an interesting affair, people. Listen, we're gonna have Daniel on again to talk about his endeavors, but until then, how can people keep track of what you're doing, my man?
Well, thank you for having me, Kev. It's always a great conversation and speaking with like-minded creatives, especially in this film industry. The website, they've hacked my Instagram. They're trying to bring me down. They're trying to tear me down. They don't want me to talk. They don't want me to talk, so they're trying to hack my Instas. But you can catch me at www.fourdeucefilms.com for the most recent feature film. YouTube is Four Deuce Films as well. Music videos, documentaries, lots of content. And yeah, right now I'd just like to, anyone who's watching this, if your calling is creativity, if your calling is film, if you can get over the depression of this society, you can get over yourself, and you've got a story to tell that is fair, which is true, that someone can learn from, it's not just about you. Don't let nothing hold you back from creating and understanding that you belong in this industry, you belong in this world. You know what I mean? Like, your mind, whether you're gay, white, black, Asian, none of that matters. You know what I'm saying? As long as you love the person next to you and you try and be good to people, God will bless you regardless. You understand? So, yeah, man, we just have to work together, push through, and just share some information, man. That's the thing for me. Share some information. Don't keep all the information to yourself. Help your fellow neighbor, man. Come on, man.
Yes, that's it. Perfect way to sign off. So people, check all the links on the website. Go follow Daniel, and we will see you again next week. All right. Peace.